Guys, what is interesting straight off the bat, look where Medvedev is standing to receive Hurkacz's serve. Around the Melbourne side, normally he's like 2-3 meters behind, so he's definitely already making an adjustment as far as where he's looking to return.
And split his step and move forward, most unusual. Do you think he's worried about the height of the bounce? The further back you go, you're just dealing with a ball that's getting higher and higher, rising.
I think it's the angles, Wally, that Hubert can produce on his serve out wide on both sides. Actually, can go anywhere.
And you think that's the whole challenge for Medvedev today, isn't it? Just solve the serve of Hurkacz and he would back himself in these baseline rallies.
The feel that Daniil has on that backhand is just sublime. Eric Hernandez on the right, strength and conditioning trainer, physio on the left, Gaetan in the middle. Gilles Savara, man in the blue cap, is Ollie van Lindonk, his long-time agent. He's the man who has to lube up all the deals for Daniil. He's got 2 break points here. Well, the opening game of the match, it's Medvedev who has just spun his web all over Hurkacz.
And as Mark suggested, that aggressive return position, well, it's certainly thrown me, and it appears to have thrown Big Hubie. Just positive court position and moving forward as Hurkacz serves. So, Mark, we shouldn't assume because he stands deep the majority of the time that he can't do the other.
Yeah, you know what? I think it threw off Hurkacz, to be honest with you. He wasn't expecting that. You know, maybe he thought he'd stay back, 5 meters behind the baseline, what he normally does, and he can maybe slowly get, do some serve and volleys and hopefully get a nice little hold, an easy hold to start off the match. But no, he's changed his direction of where he's standing. And they've asked me in the studio maybe 5 minutes ago who I thought, and I thought if he's standing that far back, I thought Hurkacz if he gets a good percentage of first serves. But I'd like to retrack that, and I might go with Medvedev. Because that was a very relaxed, impressive start to this match.
I tell you what we'll do, we'll ask you after the first set. You might have changed your mind again, you can flip and flop. The cream has certainly risen to the top, hasn't it, in the men's draw, because we were concerned with a few players who'd had truncated pre-seasons, interrupted by injury. Sinner had barely played a match prior to the Australian Open, so we were a little uncertain. But big names have all found their way, probably with the exception of Tsitsipas.
Yeah, top 6 all through to the quarterfinals. Hubert Hurkacz is 9, lowest ranked player is Fritz at 12.
Injury concerns for Novak, the wrist at the United Cup.
30-10.
I'm very surprised that Hubie chose to serve his opening service game was such an important match, looking straight into the sun. So it's a double whammy. Not only that, but as you boys were suggesting, then Daniil's changing his serving position, returning position.
And that, you would think, is the play. He's been extremely passive in his baseline rallies. To this point of the match, Hurkacz, we've seen the slice backhand, and this is the service motion of Daniil. Leading left arm, catches up quickly with the right. Guilty at times of striving for power, throwing the ball out well in front of him, but on that occasion, good form under the ball.
I like what I'm seeing from Medvedev. He's coming out. The intensity was there from the first point. You can see it in his eyes. He just did a fist pump towards his box. Hurkacz, I know he's a very relaxed personality, but he definitely looks like he's just still making his way into this match.
Yeah, keep an eye on that forehand. It's the side that can leak errors, but if Hubie manages it well, watch out. I love that chip forehand, just to keep himself in the rally. He's such a good mover, such a good athlete. He's going to give himself a shot, and he does. Luca, it's agent bottom left who does a bit of work. The deal side of things, and Craig Boynton, a long-time coach with the beard. CB. It's a lot of faith in him. A lot does Hubert.
Advantage, Hurkacz.
Talked about the double faults of Medvedev in the previous match, and here we are again.
Yeah.
2 doubles in one game. In men's tennis, that's hard to recover from. Sleepier rallies than what we witnessed last night between Sinner and Rublev.
This is early days, but still, to break Hurkacz, that's a huge opportunity that you want to take advantage of. It's a very, very tough guy to break. So if he's still feeling his way into this match, you've got to take advantage of the momentum he's got. And like I said, still feeling the ball around. He's definitely with the wind, so that one drifting along, he definitely need to accelerate through the ball on the side that he's on.
Advantage, Medvedev.
See how easily Herbert gets there. He'll be annoyed that his feel has let him down. For a big guy, I mean, he moves. He could be one of the best movers of the tall players out there. That's speed, endurance. Does not miss a day of training, Craig Boynton tells me. And he had 11 days off where he could do his strength and conditioning. He was back in Poland, so it was cold. And during those 11 days, 3 sessions a day. to try and build a base for the upcoming months.
Advantage, Medvedev.
Of course, Shil Zafara, Medvedev's coach, started out as a strength and conditioning trainer. He was a satellite level player, futures level player, so he's got a good combination of tennis knowledge and fitness knowledge.
Cain, Medvedev.
It's an important hole to try and cement that early break. That first service game, always a
Medvedev
tricky
leads, but against
serving into the sun. 7 minutes to get the hold in the end.
It was interesting because Medvedev won the toss and he basically said, I'll receive. So then Hubert had the opportunity to pick his end. He was always going to serve, and he chose to serve directly into the sun.
Please take any seat for now behind the players. Thank you.
I know, well, we've been discussing this, but like I said, when the people are moving behind the players, they prefer to wait.
Called a couple of matches this week where that wasn't the case. It's quite refreshing.
Yep.
Alcaraz and Kekmanovic, there were people moving at 30 love. They just played on. Can be done.
Spoke about the serve and return numbers of these two, the best on the surface.
Dirty love.
In the respective categories of serving for Hubie and returning for Daniil. Hubie's only was broken 6 times coming into this match. So it was the 7th in his opening service game. Tough man to break, but Medvedev has already been able to break his opponents on 26 occasions. It's halcyon days for Polish tennis. Iga Swiatek at the top of the women's game, multiple major winner. Hubie number 9 in the world, top 10er.
Guys, I'm just sitting here watching, you know, that was a hell of a rally, but just what Daniil is taking this return, I think it really shows the respect he has for Hurkacz's serve, for him to be moving, because I can't remember any other player where he's actually changed his serving position and straight off the bat from the very first point.
It was big.
Juice.
Double breaker serve. I mean, at 3 love, I think we might all agree that he's almost put the set to bed with a double break.
So in the previous round, Borges had an enormous amount of success with the drop shot. But of course, we spoke about Medvedev with that 7-metre plus return position. That's not the case today, but still deep enough in the court there for Hurkacz to get a result.
Game. Hurkacz.
That's what we're certainly used to from the big pole. Plenty of cheap points. So he's on the board. Medvedev leads 2-1 first set. It's one thing to have a plan, it's another thing to execute. Saw a little bit of kinesio tape there in that slow motion shot of Medvedev, just down the ab, lower ab, going into the hip flexor. A beautiful splash of colour, the blue courts, the terracotta roof of Margaret Court Arena. A lot less people around the grounds. Garden Square in the foreground, shaded.
Yeah, nice addition that, isn't it, Wally?
Various bars, restaurants.
Time.
Much quieter in terms of attendance than the first week, which was heaving.
Oh, Mum sent a message. Such a rich tennis history the Russians have. It's the likes of Marat Safin back in the day, Yevgeny Kafelnikov. What a great singles and doubles player Yevi was.
Alex Mitrovelli.
Yeah, it's going back. So we miss Alexander Volkov, who passed away.
Ready
He
to play.
did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
15 love.
Ball. Ball.
15 all.
Mikhail Yuzhny, what a player he was. Talk about a player getting the most out of the game. Andrei Chesnikov. Ball.
Just interesting to watch Medvedev, the way he evolves in the rally. We saw Sinner and Rublev, who just took a cut at anything that was close to them, and Medvedev, he has a much sleepier approach. He plays safely, he plays cautiously. It's a bit like chess. He looks for opportunities down the track. He builds the point. That's probably his most effective way of a cheap point. Big flat first serve. Can get on a bit of a roll, but as we said, he's had his serving problems throughout the course of this tournament with the double faults. They've crept in. Not covering the ball with enough spin on that second serve more often than not.
You're right, Wally, and then what he does so well, all of a sudden he'll just step in and rip it. You know, you'll just move the ball around, change the pace completely, and then catch you sleeping and accelerate through that ball.
Game. Medvedev.
Starting to find some rhythm.
Medvedev leads.
6'6" frame on serve. Got the same hat again as Gilles. It's the Chicago Bulls. He'll be hoping his charge can tap into that 1990s era of
the Jordan era.
Yeah, and
Last
Scotty.
Dance.
And Scotty. Don't leave him out. Dennis Rodman too. I could see Gilles being Dennis Rodman-like. Tough guy.
Well, you forget the Australian that was involved with the Bulls.
That's right.
Luke Longley, Robbie, just to refresh your memory.
Yeah. He
Hard
features
to-
nicely in that documentary.
Hard to win a NBA title without an Australian in your team.
Tell you what.
Interesting, we haven't seen Hurkacz throwing a 7 volley. You know, he's always been so good about mixing up the play. You don't really know what's going on. He's got some good values to back it up. But I really, again, going back to the position of where Medvedev is returning from, I really think he's kind of put him off right now. And I think he's just trying to find his rhythm on the serve.
I agree with you, Mark. It does seem strange, doesn't it? I mean, for any player, the serve and volley has value. Even if you do it from a position of strength on the scoreboard, it's a change-up. And for Hurkacz, you'd think it's essential that he throws in the occasional serve volley.
This guy can go through service games like there's no tomorrow. He can play quickly. It's horrible to play against him. That's why that opening break was so valuable. It was almost a double break. Remember that.
But Medvedev would be really enjoying these rally situations. He'd back himself in the majority of the rallies. And if you do serve and volley, it stops the ability of the opponent just to play that ball back to where you're standing at the baseline after the serve. Just follow the line of flight. No need there, though. With a bomb.
Still just that single breaker serve that separates these two. Well, let's give you a visual of this return position in the opening 4 rounds. The average first and second serve return position for Daniil Medvedev. You can see almost 6 meters for the first, 4.5 for the second. But of course, what an adjustment he has made today. Check this out, folks, as we melt from that to this volley.
It's incredible, isn't it? And you see the second serve. That's not where he's standing. He's actually standing, probably 1.5 meters behind the baseline, splitting his step, moving forward and meeting the ball with that forward momentum. And Robbie, of course, abbreviating his swings. So that's the talent behind it, of course, reading the serve, but then manipulating his swing for it to make sense, and that's what Medvedev can do.
Time.
He can change his shot according to the situation. Some players can't do that. Rublev, for example.
He's got great tennis intelligence, this guy. His adaptability. He's like a chameleon out there. So many different subtle skills. We've seen him show his tennis intelligence and tennis IQ, but there is stance position on the return of serve already. Hurkacz in the opening service game.
It's just a point, just cat and mouse right now, and they're points that Medvedev will win 3 out of 4 times, in my opinion. You know, Hurkacz has weapons, and I believe he needs to step up and you know, be hitting him more, be more aggressive, look to move in. But he can't push the ball around against Medvedev. Medvedev will soak that up, and he's in no rush whatsoever.
I think he just heard you, Mark.
Well, there's a familiar face. Stefan Gordy, a.k.a.
That, my friend, is Redfoo.
Shot, shot, shot. Good shot.
Everybody is shuffling. Hubie shuffling his way into the net on that occasion. And that's the type of tennis I think we expected to see from the big man. Can't do it all the time, but a blend of patience and waiting for the right ball to move forward.
13.
Yeah, Redfoo loves his tennis. We've seen him around the tour on many occasions. Miami, he's been a regular there. Indian Wells, good mates with Victoria Azarenka back in the day.
You know, Robbie, there's good mates, and then there's mates you date. I think they're a little more than mates back in the day, weren't they? Weren't they dating?
Good question.
Well, we don't like to start rumours here.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
I think I just thought Robbie's the man. He would know. Let me ask him. Let me ask him. No, I'm going to shuffle over there, and
Okay. Actually, a quick look on the computer, Mark, and you are spot on. A good date for a couple of years. And he also held a challenger, if memory serves, in Las Vegas. It was called the Party Rock Open. I mean, it would have been a good one to play back in the day.
It's a bit like Court 6 here at the Australian Open. Party court.
Yeah.
didn't he play a qualifying for an ATP tournament somewhere?
Well, maybe the one aggressive point combined with the sleepier baseline rally has done the trick. He's broken straight back.
And how important could that break point be to go up a double break 3-love in this set for Daniil Medvedev? A basic backhand miss. That's all Hubie needed. A little bit of lady luck, and suddenly he's very much back in this contest at 3-all.
By his standards, that is a bad miss. Normally so good with his racket work. And we did see Hubert approach once in the previous game. But it's actually the errors of Medvedev, the surprising errors from Daniil Medvedev that have gotten Hurkacz back into this set.
This is more like it, just cruising now on his serve.
So at 6'6" and above, you can actually hit down into the court, but Hurkacz, a lot of his serves have a fair bit of action on them. Nasty through the air, nasty off the court.
And the Polish fans are happy, and rightly so, because their man is a 4-3 lead. That's how quickly a set can change. Backhand is forged in fire. He's definitely the stronger of the two wings. He's more confident hitting it. Well, Richard Evans once described Rod Laver as the king sweeping the squatters out of his castle.
Quite a Polish diaspora in Australia. Come to support their man. Plenty to support of late in the world of tennis for Poland.
I mean, that's a good effort right there. Very cool with the bucket hat. There's the king.
There's only one king for me, Robbie, and that's you. Koenig, the king.
How would you guys rate the backhand slice of Hubie for a player that has a double-handed backhand?
It's good. It's safe. It's safe. He puts it where he needs to put it. You know what I like about the slice of Hubie? He doesn't overplay it. The slice for me is like a jab. You shouldn't miss it. It's kind of a rangefinder. Upset the rhythm, but don't miss it. Don't miss your approaches, Robbie. Don't miss your slice. Well, see, this is, I don't know what it is, but see, there was an error on the first point. That's an unforced error. And it's un-Medvedev-like.
A little lucky that one landed in, but I agree. It's almost like deja vu from his last match where he had the racket, you know, match 2 sets to love and a break and just went walkabouts and all of a sudden just gave up a break and next thing you know loses a set. He needs to be careful here because Hurkacz is, when he's out in front, he starts relaxing and then he becomes incredibly creative with the way he plays his points and he's very dangerous. So he cannot afford to, you know, let him relax and get into the match to start being more aggressive.
(40-30).
He does not with the point, Hurkacz, but I like the way he defended there. Strong, controlled.
31 strokes. This guy, a painter of so many beautiful pictures in our sport, and the way he does it, such smooth strokes. effortless. Great disguise. How clean is that?
There's not much of Medvedev, is there? Side on. You could see the wind there tugging his shirt. You can almost see his ribs through his shirt on his back. He's a greyhound. Not too often you see a player as far in the court as Medvedev was there, almost at the service line, play a shot and retreat. To his detriment in the end. He was in a pretty offensive position. That forehand did the damage. That's what we expected from Hurkacz. Moving forward when the opportunity provides itself, and he is a hard man to get over.
First serve percentage has started to move northwards very quickly for Hubie. Poor opening service game when he got broken. Since then, he's been outstanding.
40 love.
Yeah, guys, big difference right now with the cloud coverage. It's you don't have to worry about the sun on this side. You know, it's been 2 games right now, and temperature's dropped a little bit. It's amazing how quickly things change.
Game.
Ace number 4. And Hubie can see that checkered flag in the distance here in the opening set.
About the Russian pedigree in tennis. Poland, not quite so much. Got a number of good players over the years, but going way back, they had Wojtek Fibak. The patriarch, if you like, of Polish tennis.
Yeah, coached Ivan Little for a while, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he's a very cunning player, very shrewd character.
Time.
A request for another external blower, one of those ice blowers.
BG's just getting us in the mood.
Yes, please. For Hurkacz. Thank you.
So Hubie's requested an ice blower. What, they have a little cool fan, do they?
Yeah, like another one.
Let's for service.
How that'll work. Just a quick breakdown of the point dynamics, folks. You can see when the points are short and sharp, that's when Hubie's at his best. But the longer these rallies go on for, the more it plays into this man's hands, as Wally was alluding to. almost got there. The under 5, 20-11 in favour of Hurkacz. Over 9, look at that last column. 7-3 in favour of Medvedev. Middle section, 5-9, even Steven.
40 love. Cain, Medvedev. Five games on.
It's a Medi special. 82nd hold. Oh, I like the return. Liked it a lot, but how about the response? Such a big fan of that play against a big server. You see the very best returners to it. Nadal, Djokovic.
Dirty love.
That block return, ask the question one more time. You can get your racket on the ball.
That sleepy start from Hurkacz, which cost him the break. You thought that would be expensive. And now he's in a rhythm on serve. He's awake.
Yeah, I really believe just from looking up from the first point and seeing where Medvedev was standing, just threw him off. And again, it was something, an adjustment had to be made, but he's such a good server. It was coming.
He's racing through his service games now.
Yeah, it's like that McLaren that he used to have.
Hurkacz leads by 6 games to 5.
6-5, first set.
Did you see Hubie had a McLaren?
He did.
How did he fit into that?
Not easily. Loves his fast cars. I think he might have actually had a deal with them for a while there, Wally.
Right.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't see him. I'd see him more as a maybe a Land Cruiser sort of guy, something with the space. It says he's 6'6". It's bigger. So just a bit of an installation happening as we speak. An ice blower for Hubert, just some cool air. No expense spared for the players. An ice blower there, so that would feel pretty nice, Robbie. Your shirt's wet with sweat, bit of cool air. My mum would probably say, be careful, don't catch a chill.
Mum's always taking care of us.
They were always convinced that the cool air would give you a chill.
Oh, so good.
That slice can be really, really effective if you play a player with a really strong Western grip, down low, sliding away. But Medvedev, he can really square up the racket face. He's dangerous on the run on the forehand. And he can improvise.
30 love. 40 love. Cain, Medvedev.
Just had a sneaky feeling when he wasn't able to secure that
6 games all, tiebreak.
double break to go up 3-love. Things might get complicated. Perhaps no surprises then. This opening set will be decided by a tiebreaker. And I can tell you, Wally, they've played 5 of them, and Hubie's won 3.
I always lean ever so slightly towards the big server in a tiebreak.
Behind the blaze. Thank you.
Well, normally I'd agree with you, but I just feel like as far as the rallies, Medvedev's winning more of them, and Hurkacz, when that first serve is going in, it looks great, but if he gets to look at a second serve, I'm going to stay with Medvedev.
Well, it was a rally, but he was on top from the start, wasn't he, courtesy of that 190 plus first serve.
1-0.
And that might be the key for Medvedev. If he's in a rally situation, he's got to be in the ascendancy. Hard for him to turn defense into attack.
We've discussed this before as well. Statistically, in a tiebreak, the service points one goes down and the returns in play goes up. And that means, guys, that the rally length is going to increase significantly, and I can tell you it does by about 19% in a tiebreak. So based on those numbers, I'm going with the men in green.
So everybody gets just that little bit more careful in a tiebreak situation. And I felt there, probably the 3rd or 4th ball of the rally, he had a chance to hit a forehand and come in. He chose not to, extended the rally, which plays into your statistic, Robbie, that everyone just gets a little bit more careful. The rallies are extended.
I couldn't agree more, Wally. I thought the one when he went down the line, he kind of caught Medvedev off guard, a little wrong-footed him. I thought he was going to hit the next one and come in. Once I saw him start the point again, I just thought, okay, that's Medvedev's point. He's got to look to step in and be aggressive. I mean, it's 1 hole, he's got nothing to lose. He's serving next. Well, I mean, he's got something to lose, but that's when he's playing his best tennis, when he's moving forward.
There was a small gap there.
Visually, it must be intimidating with Hurkacz coming at you. He's been to the net now, that's 10 times, but you've got to remember a couple of those times have been coming in off drop shots. It hasn't been your traditional attacking play. He's been forced to move forward. That was Medvedev. See how he squares that racket up when need be? He just finds the contact point that's needed to get a result.
I always find it mesmerising to watch this guy's backhand. He can't even try and hit that passing shot hard, but he's got so much control. He just popped that one parallel with the sideline. Knew the accuracy was going to be there. Was prepared for a 2 or 3 shot combination if need be.
There it is, the forehand. Just letting him down on a couple of occasions.
Medvedev.
Backhand looks safe, whether he goes with the two-hand or the slice. This is allowed, obviously, the drink, the banana, the stoppage. I thought play was continuous in the tiebreak.
It's supposed to be, but how? It's tough to penalise both of them, right? If they're both doing it, kind of eyeball your opponent, see what he's doing. If he's hustling, then I guess you've got to hustle more, don't you?
We have a lot of rules in this game that aren't really enforced.
Correct.
From Medvedev.
Well, we didn't see the first volley, but it just ballooned off his racket. When you're a little tight, you don't quite hang on as loosely to the racket, and he was in trouble here, but look, he's blanketing the net. Hard to get around. Wins the reflex rally exchange.
Medvedev.
It is using the full dimensions of the courts.
5-4. Medvedev.
That's how good it's got to be against Daniil.
If he gets a look at a second serve here, Hubert, I'd like to see him have a bit of a go at it. He hasn't really done it throughout the course of the match. But we know Daniil is susceptible to double faults. Put a bit of pressure on. Smart body serve. Chased him into the forehand hip.
6-4. Medvedev.
Confident way to bring up 2 set points. Rock solid. Daniil Medvedev when he needed to be. And he squeezed.
Play a bit more to his size.
Second set. Delicious. And Wally Masseur is giving him the finger points.
But I know Mark's down there at the side of the court. Doesn't matter if you lose it. That's fine. But this is the way he's got to play. He's got to play total tennis. He's got to throw everything at Medvedev. Sleepy rallies from the back of the court. It's going to get you a nice scoreline. But if you want to go for the win, it's a quarter-final match. You've got to throw everything at the Russian.
59.
You know, even Jannik Sinner, as good as he was last night, never serve volleyed once. He did throw in a few kickers as first serves. You know, there was variety, definitely a lot of variety. But you know who's playing total tennis? Carlos. Everything.
Yep. Don't leave Novak out of that equation either. He's not scared to do a bit of serving and volleying and coming in.
And it's 2 or 3% in the match. So a bit more variety all of a sudden. Hurkacz, the drop shot. Nice defensive lob. Here it is. Didn't follow it in, which was a little surprising. You can see here, if he moves forward to the net, Medvedev wouldn't have had much idea where he was. That would have been a reasonable volley. So this is the type of tennis you want to see him play, particularly on the return game. Take chances. Abbreviate the points. Use your strengths. He's got power. Unleash. So you've got 2 break points, consecutive break points. You'd want him to go for this return. Go for it.
Cain, Hurkacz.
And with a bit of variety, it's Hubie who breaks first.
First game, second set.
And I'm not saying that error is a consequence of the varied play in this particular game. But if he knows if he just plays a sleepy shot and Hubert may come in, this is where you get inside your opponent's head. You win that little mental battle, and you get some unforced errors purely because there's an idea in his head that he might take an aggressive stance, or he might come in if I drop it short. So that was a good game. We saw the drop shot. We saw him come in.
You called for it, he delivered, and...
Well, you would suggest Craig Boynton, he was coaching when I was playing.
Yes.
It's been around a long time. You would think he's like, okay, Hubie, that was a nice first set. Looks good on the scoreboard, but hey, if we're going to win this thing, you've got to shake it up.
Between love. Dirty love. Dirty team.
Not a bad play. He's a big chap. Hurkacz go back in behind him, so you've got to hustle into the open court, decelerate, plant that leg, get back out wide.
He's got a decent defensive squash forehand on him.
30-14.
He's definitely got more intent behind his ground strokes. That's clearly evident. He'll be disappointed that his beloved backhand has cost him. Normally the forehand side that leaks those unforced errors. Needs to find a first serve pronto. Well, nice time to defy the odds for Hubie. He'd only won 29% of the points behind his second serve. He's won a big one there.
Yeah, that one only at 155 kilometers, but he definitely had more spin, definitely kicked up a little bit more, which ended up giving him the shorter ball from Medvedev, which he moved up to very quickly on that forehand.
Definitely at the pace as well. It's going off that forehand. You can see, here we go. Average forehand speed, set 1, 120. Set 2.
Advantage, Hurkacz.
A little bit more pace, gives you more spin control.
And Robbie, we saw that block return again from Medvedev, which he does very nicely, but refresh my memory, has Hurkacz serve volleyed a pure serve volley point once?
Don't think so.
So if you're getting a block return, just serve volley out of the blue. That then creates doubt. Can I block it? Is he coming? Just every now and then. I'm talking once or twice. And do it when you're hitting the point count.
Tantalizing his opponent.
What does Rublev call Medvedev? The octopus?
Yep.
There was a bit of octopus in that, wasn't there, from Medvedev at the back of the court? Particularly when he got that bounce smash back into play. Arms and legs going in every which way, every which direction.
A bit of octopus from both players. even Hurkacz. I mean, some of those slice forehands. I mean, it looked like he was going halfway up the net, and it just kept on rising perfectly. I mean, what a point! That one got the crowd going.
Well, Craig Boynton's obviously seen the Borges match and how successful Borges was with the drop shot, but Borges was very good, and that particular day Medvedev was playing very deep in the court. Borges was very good at 3, 4, 5 penetrating flat ground strokes, and then when he had Medvedev on the back foot playing the drop shot, you can't just play it when you're not in the ascendancy. He's too quick for that, the Russian.
It's only got like 3 seconds to serve right now. It's amazing the opportunities Medvedev gets where he can sneak in easy to hit even a topspin volley, but just he's happy to let it drop and just start all over again. Like he's in no rush. He just wants to keep his opponent moving.
It's not hurting him now, but I guarantee you it'll hurt him later in his career as he gets a bit older.
40 love.
players are getting better. Sinner and Alcaraz, they're getting stronger from the back of the court. You've got to win your fair share of points. That's the way to lean on a second. It wasn't a bad second either. We haven't seen a lot of that from Hurkacz. I'd like to see a bit more. Take some chances on return. What does it matter?
You're right, Wally. And it also saves some energy for your service games.
If I was Hurkacz, second serve, if I got a forehand, just smack it. Even if you miss it, send a message. I guarantee you'll sneak a few doubles as the match goes on.
Juice.
So it's interesting, isn't it? The umpire actually starts the shot clock when they reach the towel, not when the point's over. So there's that long, lonely walk over to the towel, and then the shot clock begins. He's just going to make this one in time as well. 4, 3, 2. And just have a look how hard Medvedev has to work here. So once Hurkacz plays this shot, like he's got to cover some territory, and he's just got no time. He does awfully well there. That last ball just clipped the tape, but that's how to make your opponent work. I mean, yes, Hubert's got a lunge. He's got to be strong himself.
Remember, we were at a very similar sort of stage in the opening set. The shoe was on the other foot. Medvedev, excuse me, up 2-love. Break point to go up a double break. Didn't get it.
I mean, that was a very creative shot. A little drop shot short ball from this deep ball was not easy. Just shows how good his hands are. Look at that. And great movement, anticipation. A little flick at the end. Let's see, because last time he was upset on the break point that he didn't go down the line. He pointed towards his box. He said, I should have went down the line the return on that second serve. Let's see if he has an opportunity to do that.
It's amazing the psychology of this stage in the set, Wally.
But would you be disappointed if you're the coach of Hubert? I'd almost applaud that. There's a reward. You will make errors if there's a reward. There's a risk, but there is a reward. I just don't like to see a guy this big play sleepily on return. Get the return back, absolutely. Get yourself in the point, but if you've got a chance and you're balanced, to try to make something happen. Like right here, second serve. Can he get a forehand? Can he crack it hard back at the server?
Why is he smashing there, Wally?
Well, Robbie, I was just about to ask you the same thing. Taking a little bit out of the Russian, though, that particular rally. This is a nice little scramble here, the half volley. And as he so often does, Medvedev makes you play one more ball. And Hurkacz opted for the most difficult of smashes. He was actually standing in the alley. He really just had to cut around the side of that ball and hit it cross-court into the forehand and see what evolved from there.
Oh.
Keep an eye on Medvedev. He has cramped before, Mark. So I remember against Alexei Poprin in Miami one year, towards the end of the match there, cramps were setting and Poprin couldn't put him away.
I mean, guys, it is hot down here. It says 31. I'm saying it's close to 36 on court, but you know, coming off the court with a hit, I mean, he's going to tell every single time. But as you said, Robbie, this is a huge game here to stay within one break compared to two against Hurkacz. I mean, you can kiss to say goodbye. So he's hanging in here. Funny thing is, Hurkacz, when he's on down game point, he seems to be more aggressive, accelerating more. And when he has an opportunity to break, he's just a little cautious, using that slice a little bit too much for my liking.
That's a very important hole in the context of this match. Put a little asterisk alongside that 9-minute 40 hold. It's 2-1.
Slow motion shot there of the players, and you notice in slow motion just how still their heads are on impact. Eye line doesn't waver.
Beautiful colour all around Melbourne Park. Really is the centrepiece of the sporting world at this time of the year. First major of the season. Record crowds for the AO 2024. What a fan experience it is. It's always evolving. It's always getting better. And come the third Sunday, I think we're going to get just over 1 million fans through the turnstiles. That is something quite extraordinary.
Same 24.
mentioned he was looking a little jaded after some of those rallies in the previous game was Medvedev. I mentioned that match in Miami against Poprin. I remember a match here against Rublev in the quarterfinals. He actually won it in straight sets, but he needed a massage on his thighs before he could come up and do the interview with Jim Curry. I don't know if you remember that in 2021. Again for cramping. That's why I think this second set is so big for Hurkacz. If he can guarantee that at least 4 sets are going to be played, I think the odds are going to swing nicely in his favor.
Dino. Team.
And you go back to that nearly 10-minute game previously where Medvedev struggled on serve. If Hubie rolls through this and just puts the pressure straight back on Medvedev, you can get these little 15, 20-minute passages that can extract something out of a player. So there it is, nice quick game. Now let's see what sort of pressure he can sustain in this game. There's Craig Boynton just urging his man on. Stay on him, make him work. And there are times in a match, and there are certain players like a Rafa, for example, that would have his man on the ropes and would just extend some of the rallies and just continue the pain in the heat to ensure his opponent had nothing left when he went to deliver the coup de grace. Let's see what the mindset is of Hurkacz right here. He's in a good space at the minute. There we go. We got a few of those over the course of the last match.
Yeah, let's not forget, if you weren't watching much of the tennis the first week of this major, he had an epic match against Emil Rousseau in the second round at Daniil. 4 hours and 23 minutes, finishing at 3:40 a.m. in the morning.
Robbie, has Medvedev been somebody who has had issues with cramping in the past? Or when's the last time, that 2021 match?
Yeah, there were 2 there, Mark. Miami against Poprin. Here at the AO as well in the quarterfinal. Right at the tail end against Rublev. And that wasn't even a long match against Rublev. It was straight sets. So there's a little bit of history that we can look back on.
I wonder if it's straight sets, something like that could have been something, you know, he didn't eat enough. Was he not, you know, enough water or hydrated enough?
Okay.
Because I was just saying, I was thinking how impressive is the fact that he's not wearing a hat, and it is hot out here, guys.
Yeah, good point.
But Mark, it's Australia. You got to wear a hat. Hat's a beautiful thing. The hat gets really wet with sweat. It's cool.
30 degrees in Australia is like, you know, 45 anywhere else in the world.
Keep that direct sun off your face.
Straight underneath that ozone layer we have.
Yeah, we don't have.
Exactly.
Yeah, Medvedev.
So Medvedev hanging around, still looming large in the rearview mirror here in set number 2.
Hurkacz leads by 3 games to 2.
So Robbie, the great Rod Laver,
Yes.
whose stadium, of course, we are sitting in,
Okay.
Rod's house. Back in the day, the players used to wear not a cap but a hat with a brim, and they would put a cabbage leaf on their head, under the hat.
Wouldn't that make it hotter?
No, I don't know. For some reason, it almost absorbed moisture and kept them even cooler. So here in Australia, we know the value of a cabbage leaf and a hat.
I know the first time I started playing with the cap, it took me a while to get used to seeing the peak all the time. I was so conscious of it. So that's about a lot of practice matches with it before I could actually get used to it.
Got to wear a cap in the sun. That's a mistake from Medvedev, a rookie mistake.
Top it off with a little bit of zinc, then you're set.
Yeah. Slip, slap, Robbie, in the sun.
He's not doing training back home in Poland. The off-season likes to spend a bit of time in the States. There's Hubert Hurkacz. Can often be seen at the Saddlebrook Academy in Florida.
Thank you. Ready for play.
Pretty toasty and humid down there.
Let's for service.
Used to be a popular training spot for Sasha Zverev, John Isner as well.
It's where the tall players go to train.
Dirty love. Dirty love. Cain, Hurkacz.
Yeah, this is what he can do, Mark. You know all about service games like this, my friend.
I mean, that was new balls, right? In that service game, was that new balls? Because they looked like they were flying. I mean, the ball is coming so quickly off the surface right now, bouncing high and skidding through. Definitely traveling through the air a lot faster. I think that's the one that you were talking about, Wally. You know, get the first one back aggressively, but have a forehand and rip it. Be aggressive. This is the time to do it. Especially, this is also the end to do it, as he's got a little bit of wind on his back.
Yeah, Mark, and if you are willing to rip some balls, take some chances, you might get a couple of double faults, just like that. He's been prone to serving those doubles. I think in the men's game, you know, a rule of thumb, hey, you've got to hang on to your serve, whatever it takes. You know, you've got to serve wisely according to your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Hopefully you get a high percentage of first serves in. But on return, you've got to be the disruptor. If getting a million balls back is the disruption, go for it. There he goes. He tries to smooth another one out. And why wouldn't you at love 30? But if you're playing the ultimate retriever, well, then maybe keep the points a bit shorter and take some chances.
I agree. That one, actually, he guided that one. He didn't accelerate through that one. And just so you know, guys, the last point after double fault, Medvedev pointed to his box, giving him a thumbs up, not happy about the tension of the racket.
Better. He's on a roll. He's up 4-2. He's ahead on the scoreboard. Take some chances.
15-14.
And just have a look at his face. It's red. He's hot.
Again, that forehand side on the return, it's definitely completely different to the backhand where he just turns the shoulder and blocks it back. The forehand, he's got that swing, he takes it back and he goes up, you know, as he hits his forehand, and he just loses it. I mean, the timing has to be perfect in order to do that on the first serve.
Thanks for coming. It's a double break for the Pole. He is large and in charge of set number 2.
5 games to 2.
If you're Craig Boynton, this is what you want to see, isn't it? Your man, all 6'6" of him, blanketing the net, hitting forcefully from the back of the court and taking the issue to Medvedev. I mean, he's one of the great retrievers in the game, no doubt about it. It's not going to be easy, don't get me wrong. But we saw the sleepy rallies in the first set. He didn't look like he was going to win the longer points. Now he's playing a bit more aggressively. And you'd have to say, Mark, you're down there. The heat just looks to be bothering Medvedev.
Look, little things like wearing a hat when it's this hot, I understand it's not your thing, but that's something where you have to think about on days like this. It is, I'm not sure if was he playing ever these other matches in conditions like this, his previous matches. I mean, it is hot, the balls are flying as well. He has changed his racket, so he's definitely, like I said, looked up to his box and complained about the strings, gave him a thumbs up, like something he wasn't happy about. But just feels like the ball right now is flying from his racket. He's got a new racket. Let's see. But you know, 5-2 double break right now. The last point he played is exactly what you guys said. This is what we want to see from Hurkacz. I mean, even if you lose the point, come forward, play your game, put on the pressure.
Thank you.
Well, the man with the best serve rating last year is trying to serve out the second set. And of course, that's something that him and Craig addressed as coach Boynton when they got together. 2019, he was 70th on that serve rating list at the end of the year. On a hard court, he finished as number 1. That's been a cornerstone of his game, and you can see why, Mark. He's just cruising at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, did I hear you right? You said 70th?
Yeah, back in 2019.
Wow.
How's that for an improvement?
Without a doubt, Robbie, he's found his rhythm on his serve. He's even found the rhythm on the second serve. He's looking comfortable, and he settled in. And I think that had a lot to do with looking up and seeing where Medvedev was standing. But like, he's dialed in now, and when he's flying like this, man, is he dangerous.
Game, second set. Hurkacz.
It's just showing us all his skills right here. Cruising to a second set scoreline of 6-2. It's 1 set apiece.
It's okay. I don't mind it. You're going to get it wrong sometimes, but you're not going to win every point from the back either. Trying different things is risky. And Mark, you'd be with me, wouldn't you? Play big.
30.
Play expansive. Don't settle back into the rally.
No, I agree. Don't let Medvedev settle back into this match. You just won the second set, 6-2. Go out, attack that first game. If you lose it, no problem. Focus on the serve.
And there may come a time in this match, as it progresses, where Craig Boynton, the coach of Hurkacz, and Hurkacz might identify that Medvedev is failing physically. And if you reach that point, then you say, okay, I'm just going to dig in and work him over. That's just a consequence of the situation. But if you assume Medvedev is feeling okay, just dial in what we saw in the second set. No guarantee you'll get it right in terms of execution, but at least the plan is there. And you will get some double faults with an aggressive return position.
Not happy about his tension right now.
Can't see how that's got anything to do with his coaching corner. Surely he determines that.
Juice.
Well, now he should certainly congratulate his box because they just served an ace, so it works out fine.
Yeah, goes both ways. You don't actually see that, do you? You don't actually see the player applauding the coaching box when something goes well, do you?
Yes, good point.
They're just whipping boys sometimes.
Advantage, Hurkacz.
Well watched.
Juice.
Nicely done, under pressure.
Advantage, Medvedev.
That is vintage, Daniil. Well, fist pump there. Gilles Savara says, why don't you do more of that?
First game.
You got to like the way that Hurkacz defended, though, don't you? He didn't give up territory. He's quick. I mean, these were a lot of deep balls. Have a look. There it is. Open stance. Open stance. But he's not retreating. Open stance. There it is. Too good in the end. But good defense from the big fella. Look at that.
I told you this guy's a proper athlete. And he loves the pain. Loves it. And
that's why he's 9 in the world, Rob.
yeah, grueling sessions that he has.
What's the definition of success? Hard work meets opportunity.
Yep.
Seats, quickly please. Thank you. Katina.
Oh, it's crisp. He's definitely looking better and better as this match has gone on. The attitude's changed. He's looking to make things happen, and surely with a frame like this, that's got to be the game plan. Clever from Medvedev.
One of my favourite all-time athletes is Eliud Kipchoge, marathon runner, legend, greatest of all time. You hear that lovely saying, at the apex of the pain, that's where success lies.
And of course, there is no guarantee that a tactic that you employ will win. But you've got to identify something that you think is the way forward to get a result. You can't just rely on Medvedev having a bad day.
And even then, his bad day is a relative term, isn't it, Wally?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember at the beginning of the last season in Rotterdam. Remember, he lost early last year to quarter. Here he goes to Rotterdam. He's in a bad mood. He's arguing in his first match with the Gilles Savary. He doesn't want to be here. He's losing to Davidovich for Cain. But he hangs in there. He turns that match around, goes on a 19-match win streak after that.
Well, there's a little lapse in concentration. Cruising in the game.
And when you've got him down, you've got to keep your foot on his neck. Because once he finds his rhythm, he is tough to beat. Can you believe it? Oh, no.
So just the one double fault for the match for Hurkacz, and there it was, break point. So concentration just deserted him, but that's not uncommon, is it? A set is so often a punctuation mark.
Please take any seat for now. Thank you.
But Wally, how do you guard against that? What is the mentality?
So John Newcombe, #1 in singles and #1 in doubles. One of the very few players to have achieved that circumstance. When he talks about tennis, he doesn't talk about points or games or sets. He talks about time. Look at that, consecutive doubles. We see it a lot. And John would say, he would consider it like a foot race. You're racing another guy, and if he goes, you've got to go with him. And he'd always say, I've got to be strong for the next 10 minutes. And he would just break matches down into little blocks of time. Well, on the back of two doubles, one good point has given him love 40.
I mean, this has got to be frustrating. You end up breaking to go too low from 30 love down with some help from your opponent, and now all of a sudden love 40, you're going to gift it right back to him.
And the consecutive doubles, I mean, that's been a real feature of his play in this tournament. 2 doubles in a game in the men's arena is tough to recover from. He likes that, doesn't he, that play? Just keeps going back in behind the bigger man.
You know what I mean? What I love what he does in the forehand is look at the racket head work, the way he accelerates and finishes, especially on the one where he wants to get cross court, a little more angle. You'll see it here. Finishes, and you see that turn of the racket head, and then over your shoulder. I mean, he's completely committed to that shot.
Two saved with aggressive tennis from Medvedev. Hurkacz will be hoping he gets a little look at a second serve here.
Juice.
I tell you what, looking at that close up there, looks like there's different colours there in the strings.
Robbie, you're of the opinion that not only is he tinkering with string tension, he's actually tinkering with string.
I don't know if there was just a glare there, but I'll wait till that racket comes back into the sunlight.
What are you talking about, Robbie?
We just have to get our man on the ground there. Medvedev's strings. Just have a look. I don't know if there's difference in colour there. We just had a close up there.
Yes, there's a lighter string and a darker string, without a doubt. There's a mix.
We are discussing the potential of a gut poly blend.
Yeah.
And, you know, might be the reason why, because he was once one colour before, wasn't it last year, Robbie?
Yes, or poly.
Okay. Medvedev.
Well, it's working now, whatever it is. Fights off a couple of break points and crucially leads 3-love in the third.
You know, if that's the case and you're turning to gut, I mean, a lot of the guys, you know, not a lot of guys, some guys are doing that on the cross. There's a lot of benefits to gut, which is really definitely helpful as far as getting a little bit more pace, helps on the slice, a little more feel on the ball. But when it's hot like this, you need to have that tension up, because if the tension is not up, the ball can fly off the racket head. And if you're not used to it, that's something that could frustrate you and kind of confuse you at times.
What's the benefit of having it in the cross versus having it in the mains?
Well, you want to have whatever string that you prefer the most on your mains. So for him, I would imagine he wouldn't be the gut on the mains. He'd want his original feel, what he had last year, to continue, but then he'd want to add the gut on the crosses for something that he's looking for. It might be pace, it might be more feel on the ball, maybe a touch more pop as well. So, but you definitely want the string that you favor on the mains.
And that, Robbie, that almost looks like gut main, doesn't it?
It does.
We've got a real close-up here, Flip. I don't know if you can catch it on your monitor. So
well,
we are...
that is interesting, because normally if you're going to make a change, you're going to, let's just say you want to put gut, you would put gut on the crosses. You certainly wouldn't put it on the mains.
Well,
that's interesting.
And do you think that could be part of the reason for some of the doubles, because you're just not getting the air and the shape and the spin out of the poly.
100% for sure. If he's gone for the first time with some gut and he's using on his mains, I would imagine if you're introducing something new like that, especially the string, you start off by the crosses and then you can maybe make a change later on. But it's surprising he's gone straight to the mains. He's working okay. Quarterfinals of the Australian Open, not bad.
Yeah, he's versatile. So we discussed at times the heat. He's not affected by the heat, but it can play a factor in his matches. So Hurkacz now, we know he doesn't normally have trouble hanging onto his serve, but he's got to be tough here. He's got to keep Medvedev out here in this third set. Even if he doesn't win it, he's got to take something out of him. There's his old return stance. We saw in the first game of the match, he was up or around the baseline. He's retreated to his usual return position, and maybe just because it's in the shade, Robbie. He doesn't have to get out of the shade.
Yeah.
He can play in the shade from here on in.
Two things from me, guys. First one is why he's up 3-love in the third. And the second one, which is very interesting, as soon as he did that, what did Hurkacz do? First thing he did, and for the first time in the game, serve and volleyed. On a wide serve.
Just gives you a whole different visual, doesn't it? A lot of space and time.
I think he might try and just ride this breaker serve till the end of the set, Mark.
So you're sort of suggesting just let it go, let the return games go?
Yeah, just chill out in the shade, as you were suggesting, Wally.
No, I get the shade part, but if you want to just cut it short and focus, you might as well just be a little closer and just, you know, step in and hit some. But I guess, like you said, he's getting some shade time. And that's very important right now, guys, because it's, my goodness, I feel like it's just as hot, if not a touch hotter right now.
Yeah, coming up to 4 p.m. local time. Coming up to 2 hours of match time.
And I've always found Melbourne a little unique. I grew up in Canberra, which is inland, and in Canberra, when it gets hot, it heats up. And at 8 o'clock at night, it can almost be the hottest part of the day. And Melbourne's got a bit of that. When the heat builds, it can stay warm well into the evening. So there's not going to be much respite for these two. They're not going to get the shade across the court for another hour or so.
Let's second service. Here we go.
See, that gut and the mains, those kind of shots is where I see him benefiting from. You know, just getting under the ball, being able to flick with his wrist. Doesn't have to put so much on it, and it is coming off nicely.
That's a bit of body language, isn't it? Just to keep it in. That's just not the court position you want, is it? He's just losing the arm wrestle. Look where Hurkacz, he's a big man, and we've seen him defend from so close to the baseline, and on this occasion, he's scampering around in the shade.
14.
So that was the final desperate fling. The racket left his hand, and the earth shuddered as Big Hubie hit the deck.
Cain, Medvedev.
Yeah, just what the doctor ordered. A couple of quick holes for Daniil. And a 4-1 lead in the third set.
Medvedev leads by 4 games to 1.
Daniil actually played aggressively that game. Like, he was on the baseline trying to make something happen. Nothing defensive or counter-punching about that game. He just keeps coming, doesn't he, Medvedev? He's a tough hombre. Doesn't beat himself, just keeps coming at his opponents. Absorbs disappointment well. So, Robbie, a couple of big musical identities from Australia. So that was Kate Sobrano on the left, and on the right, John Stevens. I'm going to say Noiseworks. My director can correct me, but I'm pretty sure John Stevens spent a bit of time as the front man for Noiseworks, which was a huge band back here, Robbie. If you're a young man, you would have been in the local pub scene, just rocking out to Noiseworks.
See any relation to Mr. Stevens from the Death Star Canteen?
You've got me there.
I need to get you some Eddie Izzard and the Death Star Canteen, Wally.
Boom. John Stevens, actually, Pat Cash, they recognised Pat Cash at a Legends lunch at the Australian Open one year, and he's a good mate of Cashy's. They did a duet together. Cashy loves his music. He's a frustrated musician.
He does.
But John Stevens just has one of those big voices. So both players playing extremely aggressively in the last couple of service games. No hesitation.
Leads by 4 games to 2.
49-second game.
You know what, I was just watching Medvedev on that last point. You're spot on. I think staying back is more about being in the shade right now, because he didn't even move like he normally does for that last one. He was very happy to let it go by, and I think he's just focused on just holding serve.
Which in the heat is a legitimate tactic. If you've done the hard work and you've got the break, you can afford it.
First point is so big. If you went with us in the early stages of the first week, I was just saying that the stats tell us. Quick look at the on-court time for both players. It's at almost 2.5 hours longer for Medvedev. Just to get back to that point about Karen Wally.
That is a lot of hours.
That's a lot of hours. A lot of that due to the fact that he played an absolute epic against Emil Rusevori in his second round. First round wasn't easy either for Medvedev. It's the French qualifier.
So 2 forehands, that one just slightly mishit.
You know, by watching here where he's standing, the ones that he's missing, he's waiting for them a little bit to come to him. The ones where he was being more aggressive, he was going out to meet the ball and kind of cutting off a little bit of, not the ankle, but just moving forward 2 more steps. And I think automatically it puts you in a mental state to be more aggressive and accelerate through the ball. I just feel like he's guiding the ball, little nose misses. Even that backhand return right there.
40 love.
And isn't it funny with movement on the court? I mean, when the ball is away from you, you will run for it. But if you're getting a little fatigued, it's all the little adjusting steps. Just working that little bit harder to be in the best possible position. It's easy just to let that go. And you don't have as many options on the shot.
Again, Medvedev.
It's more the same from Medi. Speedy holds. And the third set is almost done and dusted at 5-2.
I would have to say conditions have played a part in this match. It's a different, very, very different match in the third set than what we saw in the first. Players not willing to work as hard for their points, looking to shorten them up. We really get the feeling as though Medvedev is almost like, I'm done with the return games. I'm just going to focus on some strong serving. And that was the case in that particular game. Nice hands there. You can show just how fine the margins are. Just cleared the net and just inside the line. Made it look easy. Frustration from Hurkacz. He was just in the ascendancy in that second set. Medvedev went off for the big equipment change, came back refreshed in terms of his attire and refreshed in terms of his attitude.
It's the 37th year that the Australian Open is here at Melbourne Park. What a strong men's lineup we have had in the quarterfinals. The top 6 players on the planet. Of course, the lowest seed being the American Taylor Fritz, coming in at number 12. That's how good the last 8 lineup has been.
Love team.
Does Medvedev get interested now? Love 15.
Can you carry over a break from one set to the next? That would be nice, wouldn't it? Don't need 2, just the 1 is okay. I defer it.
Sort of put in the bank.
Yeah.
Pull it out when you need it.
Exactly.
Withdraw. Well, that's a pretty good one too. So here he is. We kind of got the feeling the games on return were just sliding by. He was confident of holding serve, but being the great match player that he is, and I understand, Robbie, the great chess player that he is.
Yes.
He's calculating the odds. Having won that first point, it's worth putting a little something into this game. And he talked him into coming back to him there. Big first step, like I'm going to cover the open court, and then just stopped.
Interesting the fact that he's back returning where he started pretty much the whole match now. He's moved forward again.
Yep.
Like you said, Wally, love 15 gets that sniff, and all of a sudden he's like, okay, let me try and go for a break.
Game on.
Let me move in.
3 set points.
15-14.
Thought about it.
30-14.
So just have a look at the grouping there from Medvedev. He's playing pretty cautiously, and he paid a price. Look at the running he had to do. He was prepared to put in the hard yards, given it was a set point.
Juice.
They can come and go pretty quickly.
And you never actually want to save so many set points before you have a crack at your opponent's serve. But actually, I think it serves you well if you can hang on here. You'd rather want to hold serve, having to save the set points, because I think the effect it has on the opponent when he comes to step up to the line to serve it out. Just knowing that he's had a couple of opportunities in the previous game.
Well, the thing for me, Robbie, serving is a physical thing.
Advantage.
It's tiring. You got to, you know, as you get weary, you know, the leg drive, you lose the leg drive. So the fact, as you say, that he's come back from love 40 and just kept Medvedev out here and made him work hard on a couple of these points may not hurt him in the next game.
Yeah.
Provided he holds.
Juice.
I've got to say, that is a fine beard, isn't it?
It's been like here for a number of years. I can't imagine how hot it must be underneath there. He's definitely trimmed it up a bit, as Craig.
Call that in South Africa, but that's a hipster. Here in Melbourne.
Advantage. Okay.
Well, he saved a couple of set points, and now Medvedev is going to have to try and serve out this third set.
By 5 games to 3.
And Daniil has just wandered over at 5-3 for a drink and a bit of a towel down. That would be akin, Robbie, to a boxer mid-round saying, I'll just go to my chair for a
Thank
bit.
you.
Okay, let's see what he's got. Tell you what, it messes with your mind. You've had a whole host of set points in the previous game. You haven't converted. Now, got to grind it out on your own serve here.
And as that ball floated up, he would have just been willing it to go long. The
You know it.
disappointment when it dropped would have
You
been
know it.
palpable.
15 all.
The athletic prowess of Hubie. I mean, what a get! The creativity at the end of range on those two shots was otherworldly.
Oh, that's brave. And we've seen it quite a few times where he's gone back in behind Hubie on the forehand wing. On that occasion, he does it on the backhand.
40-13.
It's a close call, and it was a close call, Robbie. Just kissed the inside of the line. Frustration boils over. Set point again, but this time on his serve. Where does he go, Robbie? Flat bomb tee.
I think he
What are you feeling?
I think he tests the Hurkacz forehand.
Game.
Boom.
There's a ticket to the party. And Medvedev takes a crucial 2-1 lead in this men's singles quarterfinal.
The finals, which were played in Dallas.
Yes.
And if you want to know when the world switched on to tennis as a television sport,
That was it.
almost a seminal moment. In America, prime time, both matches went to 5 sets. Gripping entertainment. Stars and celebrities courtside. And two of the all-time greats lit it up. And the game was forever changed.
30 love.
Of course, Cain's nickname was Muscles. Because
Well, originally Harry Hopman called him Muscles because he had none.
so Aussie that. Oh.
Let's for service.
Ken Rosewell, part of the tennis twins, Hoden Rosewell. Played Davis Cup for Australia as teenagers.
Thirteen.
Well, you talk about geometric perfection.
30 all.
It always looks nice, doesn't it, when a player runs onto the forehand, finishes past the ball, total commitment.
Yeah, it's a postage stamp forehand right there. Top corner, baby.
Well,
30-40.
we will talk about that stinging forehand, but what a get on return. That was 222, Robbie, that serve. We won't see the get, but there's the forehand. And as Mark suggested, doesn't he have an incredible ability right through the line at 152 kilometres an hour just to square up the racket face and find the bevel.
That was the fastest serve of the match for Hurkacz. He's got him! Daniil strikes early, and he has plugged him to the mains now.
Boys, what a point. There was some solid volleys, but the spin he had in the last one, and then the racket, he let go of the racket, went flying towards Medvedev, and Medvedev was just staring him down. Oh, what a great point.
Did he go to flick this racket in the net? What happened here?
I don't know, but look at this. It went right at, just watch. So he's watching the racket, and as he's walking, and then he just looks at the racket and then stares him down. This is, oh, I love this stuff.
He should have run into that racket. If you run into that racket.
So good. Just let it land your head.
Yeah.
Shake hands. Thank you very much, right? He's in the semi-final.
It split my forehead. I couldn't get out of the way.
There you go.
What a game, though, from Medvedev. I mean, what a game. Postage stamp forehand, Robbie. Geometric perfection.
Yep.
The get off the 222-kilometre-an-hour serve.
You called it.
Awesome. Awesome game.
You talk about stepping up.
A statement.
Hurkacz did nothing wrong then. Nothing.
It's just unbelievable all-court tennis.
He is stubborn, isn't he, Medvedev? He just keeps at it, sticks to task. So we could hear Craig Boynton saying, just keep moving him side to side, but Medvedev doing a pretty good job of moving his man side to side. Tough rally. There it is, the racket's left his hand again. He's down the tunnel. Can't fault his effort. See, and that's the sort of stuff you can't teach, can you? Medvedev, he's out of position. He just throws his racket at the ball. And somehow he knows where the racket face has to be to get the ball just over the net and just to dip.
It's always a great conversation. How important is technique? Is technique overrated?
I would say no, Robbie. But then there's a little magic that some players have where they can improvise. I mean, look at Federer. Shots he could come up with. The great players, they can be in all sorts of trouble, but they just know where their racket face has to be. Even if their head's going one way, the leg's going the other, scrambling, they've got a little something in their wrist.
Cain, Medvedev.
So would you rather be stronger between the ears and have average technique, or the other way around?
I'd rather have great technique and be a lunatic.
Would you?
Yeah.
You see, I'm from the other school. I'd rather be unbelievably tough between the ears and be able to manipulate the racket face and keep the ball alive. If you could only have one or the other.
You've heard it here, folks. The cerebral Robbie Koenig.
Against the cavalier that is Wally Masur.
And I'm not surprised you said that, Robbie, because you do come from an academic family.
I am the black sheep, though, Wally.
15 love.
Well, pretty impressive start from Medvedev here in the fourth. He's just got those little gears that he goes to, where he just digs in, doesn't miss. Don't overplay, just guide it down the line with accuracy. And Hurkacz is doing exactly what his coach wants him to do, which is to spread the court. Look at this, he's got Medvedev pinned deep here, the backhand corner. There you go, there's the spread. That's what Craig Boynton wants. But look at this. That is just so sweet. Just a little left hand around the side of the ball, Robbie. With each revolution, it was curling in.
That one almost hit James Kiyothovo.
30-15. Mr. Medvedev is requesting the review on the left near sideline.
That's just to buy a bit of time, isn't it?
Yep.
Is there any point to this? Never in doubt. Alain Lecker.
$40-15. Cain, okay.
That's what we saw a lot of in set number 2. Hubie gets a meaningful digit alongside his name in the 4th.
So, boys, can he serve it out? Can he just hang on, as he did in the 3rd set? Can he just hang on with the one break? Would be the question.
I like what I'm seeing, Wally. You know, he's getting a good percentage of first serves. He's still going to get those doubles, but it feels like he's not rushing just because of the heat. You know, taking his time. But it's just the way he's feeling the ball. You said it yourself. The slight little adjustments he's doing with his racket head by using his left hand on his backhand, by the forehand turning it over to get over the net. I mean, it is that you can't teach that. Like, you know, it's just incredible to watch.
Well, it's the 55th Australian Open. 37th year at Melbourne Park. Of course, it's the 112th edition of the Australian Championships, which began way back in 1905. And the man to beat in the Open era is Novak Djokovic. 10 times he has won here. He is the defending champion. He is through to the semi-finals, where he'll play Jannik Sinner in the top half of the draw. This, the bottom section, Hurkacz and Medvedev, and then a little later this evening it'll be Zverev and Alcaraz. In case you were wondering, for his efforts, should Hurkacz lose in the quarterfinals today, he'll take home 600,000 Australian dollars. The winner would be guaranteed 990,000 Aussie dollars for making it through to the semis.
$1 million.
Yep. It's a good gig if you can get it.
Yeah. Come a long way, the tournament.
30 love.
I know Hurkacz missed that last one, but he at least accelerated. That first point, guiding it around, just moving. You know, Medvedev's winning those ones, a lot of them, and he just needs to get back to that aggressive mindset he had in the second set, where he's looking to accelerate through the ball and trying to make his, find his way into the net.
And there you go. As if on cue, he puts a little pressure on.
30-15.
That's what Craig Boynton was calling for. Just keep Daniil on the move.
30 all.
Test out those legs.
And do you think that's the purpose of keeping him on the move, just to wear him down over time? Then, you know, as Mark suggested too, there comes a time when you do have that short ball or that opportunity. You can't just completely rely on attrition. You've got to make something happen. Came to the net on the previous point successfully. Solid on that one. See what he's got here at 30 all. And Robbie, I know it's the high part of the net, but this ball here, if he slices line and covers line, he's a big man, Hubie. But he had to cover the open court. He was even a sucker for the wrong footing shot. Tough to come in cross court there. You just leave too much court open. And you don't have time. Did I come in the wrong way? Yes, you did.
That's good. That is very good.
Juice.
Just get the feeling it's going to be one of these games. The longer it goes on for, the more meaningful it becomes. The king is happy. Are you kidding me?
And I felt like there's been a lot of opportunity for Medvedev to move forward, and
Advantage.
I mean, that is some extravagant looking volleys. There's a lot going on. It's like he's swatting flies up there.
Never in my life have I seen so much slice on a volley. But hey, it worked. Man, was he all over the place. Great move in. I did not see him come in the net. What a great move.
Oh, double trouble from Hubie.
We haven't seen a lot of that in the match, have we? Where he Just slides into that backhand corner and turns it into a forehand. Executed beautifully on 2 occasions in this game. And Mark, I reckon there's a bit of an opportunity to serve volley wide to Hubie's forehand because he's just blocking them back. He knows Medvedev is not coming, but I don't think we'll see it. There's another block back into court. And the feet were not there.
But what a smart shot from Medvedev. That was not an easy play. He had to go back and he was behind him. And to have just that mindset, just to float it deep to get it back. And then he put his opponent on the back foot. I mean, it would be nice to see a serve and volley, and he'll definitely catch him by surprise, that's for sure. He's blocking a lot back in return.
That's magnificent depth.
New balls, please.
So are we entering that phase where at 3-1 where Medvedev
by 3 games to 1.
is fairly casual on return, just
violation, audible obscenity, warning, Mr. Hurkacz.
didn't catch it myself.
He had yelled out no way with a word in between.
Look at that, 107 points each at this stage of the match. And given Medvedev's lead, that's a bit surprising.
Take your seats quickly, please. Thank you. So
Medvedev, he's gone back in the shade. Flip, he's going to conserve some energy potentially.
Dirty love.
Well, boys, clearly he has a game plan. He's going to stick to it.
Legs for service. Low.
And you counter that with, remember that 2-2-2 serve, 222, and he jagged it back when he was desperate to make the ball. There it is, 212. He just lets it slide by. No great effort there. So the die is cast. He's going to let these service games roll, maybe unless he gets the first point and focus on his own to bring it home.
Medvedev leads.
So Medvedev 3-2. He leads. Fourth set and 2 sets to 1.
Second hold.
Interesting too, you can see there that close-up of both players, neither one wearing a sweatband. Can negate the need to go for the long walk to the towel. Just have the sweatband, mop your brow, keep the sweat from running down onto your palm. He's a minimalist though. Medvedev, no hat, no sweatbands.
Yeah, not too many people in his box either.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Robbie, you would have had a fairly big entourage, wouldn't you? Popular character like yourself.
I've got no comeback to that volley.
When you're popular, Robbie, you just are.
Hitting love.
Well, for Hubert, and we know he's trained hard throughout the course of his career and awfully hard in the off-season. This is where you have to put that training into effect. You have to lift. It's hot. It's been awkward. It's been physical.
30 love. Love.
Just what you would have asked for. Look at that mirage on the court.
Oh. 40-15.
You know, that's definitely the time to go for one of those serves. He's 40 love up, threw it up, no problem at all. But this has got to, you know, not get too relaxed here.
Cain, Medvedev.
That's been a good play from going back in behind Hurkacz on that forehand wing. I like the serve too. The slider wide on this court is effective.
Medvedev leads by 4 games to 2.
So you can see there, he's got to cover the open court. That's a 10 or 12 metre sprint, and more often than not. So you've got big Hubie going in one direction. He's got to stop all that way, decelerate and accelerate back. Change of direction. That, the bigger you are, the harder that is.
Yeah, bigger turning circle.
That's where you get a little guy like Demon. Very quick in and out of the corners.
It's always a difficult shot when you're moving forward so aggressively to then play a drop shot. So easy to be heavy-handed. Momentum of your body just takes that ball forward. Oh, hello. There's a forehand that's burned through the air.
He moves. Watch this. If we get to see Medvedev in this shot, so big serve. And you watch it. We don't see it, but he moves to the forehand even before he's hit it. And look, there he is waiting.
Just shows you how good these guys are when they've got time on the ball.
And how the good players can anticipate. The rest of us just stand there and then have to run like a March hare to try to get that, but he was already moving.
Forty-30. Juice.
Some impressive numbers on the serve. It's testimony to the pace that Hubie has. And he's in a spot of bother again.
Advantage, Hurkacz. Mr. Medvedev is requesting a review on the left near sideline.
It's another one. Outside edge. Just doing a good job of hanging on in here. Just keeping the pressure on Medvedev as he's down a break.
By 4 games to 3.
Always nice to see Daphne and Norman.
And of course you can't touch those trophies unless you've won them. So that's hence the gloves. You can only touch them with your bare hands if you've won them, Robbie. Not sure why that is, superstition.
Cain.
Can't have a loser's fingerprints on them. Polish fans dotted around the stadium here, desperately trying to get Hubie over the line. He's got his work cut out. He's down a break here in the 4th. Medvedev, we get the feeling, is just setting his sights on hanging tough on 2 more service games.
Both players looking to be a little more aggressive with their forehands. They've both stepped it up from set 3 to set 4. Hurkacz, we've seen work that inside-in forehand on a few occasions. Medvedev, the forehand cross-court, has been outstanding. Going to keep that ascendancy. Pedal to the metal.
And that, if anything, has been his Achilles heel over the last couple of matches. Just the sprinkling of double faults, and they can come in pairs, so keep an eye out for that. It's 10 double faults for Medvedev for the match. It's pretty much what he served in his previous round in 4 sets. 9 or 10 double faults. Would never have considered him a double fault server as such. Maybe it comes down to this new streaking pattern that he is employing, potentially using the gut and the main, a bit livelier.
That's the one we've been waiting for. You know, use a bit of shape from the baseline. Anything relatively close just after the service line, just hit and come in. He's got great hands, great volleys to back him up. Well done.
Break point. He's got him. Combination of some good aggressive tennis. The forehand's firing. And Hubie is right back in the mix.
And I would say, Robbie, there's a luxury that Hubie's enjoying. Polish fans are happy. Medvedev never serves and volleys. So he's been able to just direct three-quarter returns, kind of up the middle of the court. That one was particularly deep. Just safe in the knowledge that at no point will Medvedev come and take one out of the air. Oh, he's become Mr. Net Play in the last two games. There's been times that we've... Look at that serve, that's up above shoulder height. Lovely little inside-out slice, curving away from his opponent. And he does volley nicely. Good technique. Nice little switch that he has flicked. And what a shift in momentum.
Massive. I remember in the opening set, it was Medvedev.
40.
They got the early break, opening game, then got broken himself in the sixth. That was it. They just split those breaks, went to a tie break. And heading in a similar sort of direction in this fourth. 5-4, Hurkacz.
Hurkacz leads by 5 points to 4.
Unless you've got an absolute cannon for a serve, it's a hard game just to nurse your way to the finish line. You've usually got to maintain the type of tennis that's got you into that winning position to get the job done. Hurkacz, he just stepped it up out of the blue. He wasn't content to rally. As Mark said, anything short, he was on it, no hesitation. He's a tough guy to pass. He's a tough guy to get a lob over. And the execution is absolutely spot on. So that last 5 minutes, that has been a monumental shift.
Time.
Always make sure you're well covered and well hydrated at the AO. This fourth set has got a whole lot more interesting. If you've just joined us,
Ready for play. Thank you.
Hurkacz broken in the opening game was the poll. He's broken back in the eighth.
Same point though, isn't it? He wins it this time, Medvedev, but it's just that block, floated reply. He knows he can get himself in the point with just a careful return. Been out here for just on 3 hours. 2 hours and 59 minutes, in fact, and Medvedev has yet to serve and volley once. Short slice, not a bad play. Medvedev does not want to come forward. So then you've almost got him stranded in no man's land. He's backpedaling. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a drop shot.
Sublime.
30-10.
You'd always encourage a player to have a bit more spin on the shot for added control, but the control that Medvedev has on that racket face on impact it's right up there with the very best.
Guys, I've just been sitting here watching Medvedev the last few points, just the way he's walking back after his serves, just the way, you know, looking at his face, sensing how huge, this is like a must. I don't know what's happening right now to the referee, but something's going on right now. You know, he's looking over to the umpire last couple of points, but I mean, if Hurkacz wins his set, I mean, just physically, I just don't like the way Medvedev is looking, to be honest with you.
And when it's hot and you're tired and you're irritated, the scoreline can really affect you. He's had the break here in the fourth. Looked tired, didn't it?
Some big body blows there from Hubie.
So Craig Boynton has been calling for Hubie to spread the court, keep his man moving, and this is a great indication of just how to do that. And this last ball here, just left heavy.
This is where it gets interesting, right, guys? Because you're thinking, okay, we're seeing Medvedev right now. Could he be struggling? Yes. He's being successful, being aggressive, Hurkacz. Sees the guy struggling. Do I just keep the ball in play? Do I keep moving? Or do I keep accelerating, trying to move him? You know what I mean? It's a tough one right now.
Well, I think that last game where he was kind of, if he identified a short ball and he came forward, I mean, you've got to get organised quickly to pass somebody, and if you're a bit fatigued, that's not easy to do. And Hubie definitely looks the pressure of the two players.
Medvedev right now is stretching his left quad, now is stretching his left hammy, while he's going back for his towel. So,
cramp?
I don't know. He's just stretched his quad first and then his hamstring twice. And I don't know if I want to say, is there a slight limp? I don't know.
I think there is there. There is there. Just keeping an eye now, Mark. Good spot.
advantage, Medvedev.
Mentioned those matches against Poprin in Miami. Australian Open here against Rublev, where there was the onset of cramps. This is really becoming a battle royale now. So much at stake. Playing in his 100th Grand Slam match is Daniil. Looking to make it through to the semi-finals of a major for the 8th time. Hubie looking to go there for just the second time in his career.
This is where those no days off that Hurkacz gets plays dividends, right, Robbie?
Don't you know it, Flip? Don't you know it?
30 love.
Medvedev was hunching over that after that point down, clearly feeling it right now.
Just the way it works, obviously, when, depending on when you serve, every 2 games you get to sit down. Probably right now it's a bit of a bonus for Medvedev that he can take a seat after his return game and just recoup with the ice, cool air, fluid, just freshen up for his own service game.
Now he's in full flow.
40.
And Hubie, you'd have to say, in contrast, looks fine. Maybe a couple of forehands that he's tried to run around, he didn't quite get in position, but hasn't lost any physicality.
Drops the hammer at 210 kilometers an hour, bringing out his best rendition of the Kenny Powers fastball to go 6-5 up.
Hurkacz leads by 6 games to 5.
Eric Hernandez in the orange shirt. There's a lot of strength and conditioning for Daniil. There'll be a special mix in that drink just to help him. There's a little bit of salt added. Who knows what's in there?
Pickle juice. You ever had the pickle juice, Robbie?
I haven't. Playing a 5-set Wally.
Time.
Yeah, it's a hot one. Both players feeling it. Medvedev a little bit more so than Hurkacz. Medvedev up a break in this 4th set. Not going to close it out, but as Hurkacz breaks back. What's going on here? Just a little pause before he starts to walk.
Well, do we start to look for things? We feel like he's flagging. We think there's a limp. Are we looking for something that's not there? Is he foxing us?
Maybe playing possum. 5-6.
Let's for service.
He's got to be careful he doesn't get too predictable on the serve. It's a tricky one.
Well, he just, once again, he just allows his opponent just to block it back. And this is how he broke. First short ball, mid-court ball, bang, straight in. And this is the end that he broke from in the previous service game down here. Straight away trouble. I can't believe it. Finally. Finally.
There you go, Wally. Better late than never.
There is a god, Flip. A tennis god.
Definitely caught him by surprise, that's for sure.
Well, he's settled into that return for like the last hour. Just block it back, get in the point. The element of surprise. Thought he made a mistake there, Robbie, too, with the backhand going across.
30 all.
Had a short ball, could have thumped it line and covered the net, opened it up for himself, but he's such a good scamperer. He got himself back into the point, did Medvedev. Gee, the way he's looking, you sort of think this set is must win for him. These are huge points.
100%. The way he's walking back to his towel, just the way his body language.
Too passive again, just allows him to block it back, get in the point. Hubie's taking the chances, he's being rewarded. He's playing to win.
13-14.
One guy's playing to limp across the finish line.
A chance to take us the distance for Hurkacz. And that's where we are going.
Against the five.
It's been a war of attrition, and Hurkacz has won the fourth set. He is looking good.
Let's go. We'll see.
Shadow just creeping across the court. It will come into play through this fifth set.
15 love.
So what attitude does Medvedev adopt? Does he play a little more up-tempo, take more chances, keep the points shorter? He's such a big, strong man that if he holds his ground and just has forward momentum, he gets a lot of value when he hits the ball on the rise, and that is the time on court to this point. So including this match, 15 hours, 37 minutes for Daniil. It's significant.
40 love.
It's that accumulated fatigue, isn't it?
It's like the Tour de France, Robbie. You know, each day you get that cumulative time spent in the saddle.
Yep.
And then they get in the Alps. Well, these boys are now in the Alps.
Yeah. And I know you used to like your 400s when you were training, Wally, and the first 50 ain't like the last 50, is it?
No.
New balls, please.
The King,
First game, final set.
just gently tapping his scepter. He's liking what he's seeing here. That was a pivotal fourth set. Big turnaround from Hurkacz. And it wasn't necessarily the errors from Medvedev. It was the positivity of Hurkacz coming forward, taking time away, big imposing figure at the net, a couple of crisp volleys. He won that set deservedly.
And you can see that the pace of the forehand of Medvedev started to drop off significantly. Set 4, first 6 games, he was feeling good about himself. He got the early break, but look at those last 6 games. So we'll keep an eye on those numbers as the fatigue starts to take effect, both physical and mental.
And Robbie, once your court temperature heats up, it doesn't matter. This court might be in full shade in 20 minutes. Gee, that's a shot, isn't it? That's a shot. That's the left hand just doing all the work. But once you're hot, you're hot. You need time to cool the body down. It won't happen out here. He might feel a little better after that 7-minute break in the air conditioning. But the court's still bathed in sunshine.
Having a look at the 5-set records of both players.
15 all.
Medvedev was very much in the negative. 5 and 9. Lost his first couple that he played. 6, in fact, the first 6. Yeah, some of them were early on in his career, but grass didn't do him any favours. Lost a tough one to Wawrinka here back in 2020. 6-2 in the 5th.
Robbie, we go back to, I think it was even late in the 3rd set. It was Craig Boynton leaning over the rail, telling Hubie, spread the court, move him side to side, move him. Craig Boynton obviously had in mind that Hurkacz could win this physical battle if he took something out of Medvedev. It's paid dividends.
Now Hubie in the ascendancy with his 5-set record. 9 wins, 7 losses. He's won 4 of the last 5 he's played. Of course, one a little earlier on in the event against Jakub Mensik.
Cain, Medvedev.
Of course, it's a discussion we enjoy having, the link between the mental and the physical. You know, how much discomfort can you deal with? That central governor that you have in your brain, you've got to override it.
Well, I think, Robbie, you know, and you've actually showed me some video of Hurkacz training in the preseason. When you've done that sort of work, and you've pushed yourself beyond what you're normally capable of withstanding, it kind of puts things into perspective when you're out on the court. You don't panic. You've been there before, you've been uncomfortable before, and you know you got through it.
Wait, please.
So I don't know what Medvedev's pre-season was like. He looks fit. When he takes his shirt off, then he's not carrying any weight. He's ripped. He's got endurance. But depending on where you did your pre-season, look, he's well and truly in the shade. He's actually out of camera shot. That's 8.5 meters behind the baseline. And just the different look draws a double, and there's Hubie serve volleying on the second, because it just looked like he probably didn't even see Medvedev in the shadows. But, you know, to your point, you know, what can you withstand mentally? Well, what have you put yourself through beforehand? If this is the first time you're feeling this, it's a bit of a shock. But if you've been in this situation before on the training track or in the gym, you'll know that it passes.
Just having a look at some of the matches that Hubie's played, the long ones. 4 hours 42 at the French. 4:31, 3:53, 3:52. That 3:53 was against Lorenzo Sonego last year here. He ended up winning it.
40-30.
Oh, 2-2-2. That's his biggest, isn't it? 2-2-2 for the match. He's just replicated it.
To Richie Beno serve that one.
I like it. I like it. Smart from Hurkacz. A lot of time and space. Heavy kicker. Charges in. Hold serve. He leads 2-1 here in the fifth.
Of course, one of the longest matches. I think the longest match this guy's ever played against Nadal right here. Remember, he had a 2-sets-to-love lead in the final. 5 hours, 24 minutes. Rafa got him in the end. US Open final was 4 hours 50 when Medvedev played Nadal there. Go long. Make no mistake about that.
Both of those evening matches played under lights.
Yeah, good point.
And the heat, some people can train the house down. The heat just affects them. I don't necessarily know why. Some people are just better in the heat than others. Maybe it's conditioning as a youngster, where you grew up. Both players, of course, from the Northern Hemisphere. Nothing to suggest that Hubert Hurkacz has any advantage due to his birthplace. Of course, Wrocław in Poland, I'm assuming, Robbie's pretty cold in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
And not that extremely hot in the summer.
Hitting love. 30 love. Love. Medvedev.
Clean serving from Medvedev. That wide serve starting to pay dividends. He's getting a lot of opportunity, whether he gets a missed return or he can dominate with the very next ball. That wide serve is important. Just have a look at his nose. It is Rudolph red.
Guys, this is why it's important for Hurkacz to continue to be aggressive and accelerate, because when you're playing a guy and you're thinking, okay, I've just got to get the ball in play physically, I don't know if you can hang in there, then you start guiding the ball. If you miss a couple, you can get tight. So he needs to continue playing the game that he used to playing, and that's being aggressive, yes, moving him around, but more importantly, just making sure he's still accelerating and not guide the ball and wait for his opponent to start missing, because things can get tricky all of a sudden. Medvedev, you know, the guy he's going to keep doing the same thing. He's giving it everything, and you know, he's just making him play.
That's what you're talking about right there, and probably what he should have done on the last ball. Don't get cute, just keep accelerating. Play big. When he's won sets, that's what he's done. He's taken it to Medvedev. I mean, he was 19 winners for 9 unforced errors in that last set, Hurkacz. He stood up and won it.
He highlighted the bounce that he brings to the serve. That was like a Curtly Ambrose special, that one, rising off a good length. Good stuff from Hubie. He really has got a pep in his step. Redfoo's enjoying it. It's 3-2 in the fifth. There goes the wrapping of the arm. Doesn't wear a wristband, so he just wraps up that arm, absorbs all the moisture.
can see through the course of his forehand. And you talk about a few errors coming from that wing. He kind of closes the face, and then he's got to open the face back up and then close it back down again. So the plane of the racket has to go through quite a few phases with that forehand for Hurkacz.
Time.
Well, these two have gone the distance before. It was the first time they played at Wimbledon, and it was Hurkacz who came out on top. And on that occasion, he was down 2-1. On the fourth and fifth, 6-3, 6-3 did Hubie.
So once again, the wide swinging serve, you think Hubie's maybe got to step in, cover that. He's going there pretty consistently now, is Daniil.
Pitino.
I'll tell you what, another match that springs to mind was the semi-finals of Cincinnati one year. I think it was 2019 against Djokovic, where he was getting tired and he just started ripping first and second serves. He was hitting his second serves as hard as his first against Novak, and actually just served his way out of trouble in the second set, got into the third set and started doing the same thing. Just played so aggressively, did Daniil. Went on to win Cincinnati that year. It was in a world of hurt against Djokovic in the semis.
And you can only do that when all expectation is on.
Yep.
If you try to do that when you're fresh, it won't work.
But why not? When you know how well it does work. I call it playing without consequence. You almost don't care, Wally.
Yeah,
Imagine if you could tap into that all the time.
I know, but it's a mindset that you get because you're backed into a corner. You've got nowhere else to go, and somehow it works. But when you have options, you doubt it.
It's amazing, right? So sometimes it's almost better not to have options. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, maybe it's just better to have a lobotomy and then have a career.
Oh, no. 3-3 in the fifth.
The one thing, and I've said it before, Medvedev is a fox. He's a chess player. He is cunning. He manages himself, understands the ebbs and flow of a tennis match. In fact, I'd go as far as to say he's the fabulous Mr. Fox. And I'm not sure if you saw that movie, Robbie, but if you did, you'd know where I'm coming from. It's almost now he's identified, having won that first point, put in the effort. I mean, that was a big sprint to this drop shot. And have a look, he doesn't actually miss it by much. So he's engaged here because he's got a sniff at love 15. That goes over, it's a winner. Clip the tape.
That's 27% swing if you win the opening point on your opponent's serve.
Here it is. This is his moment.
So much it increases your chances of breaking. Obviously now that number goes up even higher.
So he's sort of calculating and trying to focus all of his energies into the next couple of points.
This is where it's so easy for Hurkacz to overthink as well, right?
Yeah, or to play a little safe.
Let's for service.
I mean, what a smart play. The change-up flattened the backhand and gave him some really slow, high looks on the forehand side. And now he's got 2 break points. I mean, this guy, man.
Thank you.
It's out. The break goes to Daniil, making the move at precisely the right time. What a game. What a time. What a player.
Did I not say he's the fabulous Mr. Fox? Like you did. You just can't count him out. And what a clever, I mean, he's barely come to the net all match. Here he is, he's got his man on the ropes, and all of a sudden he just stings a backhand and he's in. Like he's been doing it all his life.
And he must have been willing this one out. We're just hoping.
But he wasn't really prepared to hit it, was he? And there's the little look to his camp. The muted fist pump, doesn't want to waste any energy.
Let's go, chess master. He is
he a Bobby Fischer?
Master.
Is he a Karpov? A Kasparov? Who is he?
He's got to be Kasparov, right? Well, it's been a fascinating encounter. So often when you have 5-set matches, you can get sets that are often duds. Certainly hasn't been the case today. Medvedev just cracked the 16-hour mark now on court. Hurkacz an hour and a half behind him.
So is tennis a dynamic sport or is it an endurance sport?
It's both, and that's what makes it so darn tough, Wally. You've got to be everything in this game. And you've got to be so tough mentally.
And Medvedev has shown us all three. And what an incredible knack just to collect himself and direct all his energies into that previous return game and execute. Well, they say you haven't broken until you've held.
I mean, it's no secret how important this service game is, especially from that end, because this is the end where he's struggled. And you're thinking, if he can hold here, give it one more go with the wind on the other side to serve for the match. But this is the one where he's had the trouble.
30-10.
Oh, he's made it.
30-all.
Adrenaline-fueled forehand.
Seems to be at his best, doesn't he, when he's trying to make something happen. Probably didn't want to cut it that fine, but fortune favours the brave. That's how he broke in the second. That's how he broke in the fourth. Looking to make something happen. And there it is again. Aggression, taking the ball on the rise, taking time away.
And playing that military-style tennis that his coach was demanding, sending Medvedev left, right, left, right.
And that's a punishing point, isn't it? When you're the player that's hitting the ball cross-court, your opponent's going line, you are doing all the work.
It's brought up break point.
I thought for a minute he was going to attempt to hit that.
The serve and volley, Wally. Break point down.
And you know, Flip,
And there's no panic there. How easily could he have tried to play it, Wally?
well, we've got a Wimbledon finalist and the US Open finalist sitting down there who was great from the baseline, but you know, you serve volley occasionally.
Yeah.
I mean, so gutsy.
But it's part of the game, isn't it, Mark? It's a legit tactic.
Yeah, 100%. Look, he's never going to, never in a million years would I say serve and volley once a game. But to throw it in now and again, just to keep his, you know, his opponents honest, but to do that on break point, 4-3 in the fifth, well done, Medvedev.
That was courageous.
What a get from Hubie.
Are you kidding me?
And then the skill required to finish it off. Athleticism and artistry of the highest order.
Thank you.
He's sort of half apologising, but for what? The neck cord? The neck cord did him no favours. And how's Mr. Fox up the other end? He has identified that at this stage of the match, coming in and forcing the issue is worthwhile.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, well, look at him, just go straight back to work. Had a point, a game in his hands, dead leg court. I thought he made it. Unbelievable passing shot, then that drop shot. I mean, and then just goes back to work. First serve and forehand.
What a game. What a game.
What a hold, right?
the two games, the break and the hold. Like,
Medvedev leads by 5 games.
if you're the coach, it's a tip of the hat to Medvedev. And look, you can see the ozone layer's burned a hole in his nose. He's got scarlet nose, scarlet forehead. He's tired. That was an extraordinary point. So we've seen Medvedev let a few service games just go when he's been up a break. What does he do? He keep the pressure on. I'll be honest with you, Robbie, that's what I'd like to see.
I'm with you.
Play it tough. Don't give him anything. Do your best to try to break. If you don't, you've got another game up your sleeve, but don't kind of break the momentum by just being casual.
I agree, Wally. You never know what's going to happen when the way this match is going on. He cannot depend on holding serve.
And isn't it amazing, Flip? I mean, that last game, he turned into Pat Rafter. Out of the blue, he's serve volleying, he's coming in off everything. I think he'd only been to the net just to have his photo taken at the start of the match prior to that.
Well, even then, he was shuffling back. He wanted to get back to the shadows on that as well.
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on. I mean, it's just, he knows he's got to hold serve here and have one last crack. He's given himself plenty of opportunities he's had to break. But the tension right now, I mean, this is so silent right now between every point.
Good. Hurkacz.
He does what he needs to do. And Hubert Hurkacz shall get one more look at the Medvedev serve. It's 5-4 in the fifth. Medvedev, let's not forget, came through a 5-set epic from 2 sets to love down against Emil Rusvori in the second round. 4 hours, 23 minutes that was.
He let that game go again to a degree, Medvedev, maybe after he lost that first point. It didn't serve him well in the fourth. The momentum shifted. So he regrouped incredibly well to break and to hold, to put himself in this position. But he let that game slide. Will it come back to bite him?
You know what, on a positive note, as you see, that shadow has creeped across, almost taken up 3/4 of the court right now, and that certainly is going to help.
It's been 3 hours and 55 minutes of highly entertaining tennis. The tennis intelligence, the artistry, the athleticism. They've shown us everything. Daniil Medvedev would love nothing more now than to put this match to bed and book himself a spot in the semi-finals. Oh, it's got a piece of the line, I think.
I'm not sure it was completely intentional, but gee, that's a hard volley to defend against. So he probably took his racket away, but even if you get bat on ball, there you got no strength.
No, he couldn't hit that one. He couldn't get that one.
He couldn't reach it.
He mishit it and it ended up dipping in.
Oh, stop it. How good was that?
I thought he'd hesitated. I thought he was in trouble there.
That was not an easy volley. Took off the power. Just a little drop volley cross court at the 5th set. Love 15, nothing special. Wow.
30.
What a match player. What a match player. I thought he was in all sorts of trouble at the start of the 5th. And he's just navigated his way to within 2 points of victory.
How important has that serve been for him in this deciding set? The grit, the determination. He has dug deep.
Please.
He's got 2 match points.
Should have got in. He hesitated ever so slightly.
40-30.
Yeah, well, he probably had at least 3 opportunities that I actually thought he's going to hit and come in behind it. It just went back to the baseline. Oh, man. What a hustle from Hurkacz. Are you kidding me?
Second match point. Daniil Medvedev is through to his 3rd semi-final at the Australian Open. He's embroidered this match with his tennis intelligence, his grit, his determination, and the athleticism to stay out there for almost 4 hours to get the job done. And he prevails in 5, 7-6, 2-6, 6-3, 5-7, 6-4, and an absolute epic.
And he's just showing us how he played that last shot and how, Robbie, did he not have too much tension in his arm to play the little drop shot on that match point. Unbelievable. And an exhibition of net rushing and volleying. I don't think he can quite believe he's won that match.
And Hubie's played his part. Boy, did he hang in there. Down a break in the 4th, came back. Wrestled the momentum away from Medvedev. But it won't be a semi-final at a major for him.
Let's just remind our viewers the tough conditions that this match was played in. 35-odd degrees on court, 4 hours of gripping tennis, seesawing fortunes, and somehow Medvedev has prevailed. I didn't necessarily see that at the start of the 5th.
I mean, what a match player. What a match player. Tennis intellect that he has, and to make the decisions under pressure, big decisions, bold decisions, as you referenced at the time.
He's blowing kisses to his camp. They should be blowing kisses to him. He fought and he found a way.
Yes, that feeling, if you could bottle it and sell it. All the hours and hours
that you put in behind the scenes. You want to shine in front of everybody, you have to work in front of nobody. He's down with John McEnroe now.
Daniil, absolutely incredible effort. Incredible win, physically, mentally, to be able to pull that off. Tell this crowd how you were able to do that.
I am so destroyed right now. I honestly, not that I ran out of gas, but I was feeling very tough physically at the end of the second set already. So I was like, okay, need to try to stay tough, break in the fourth, but he played good. I don't even go tough on myself. Fourth set, I'm just no more concentration out, and I'm like, okay, I just have to try my best to do whatever I can, and let's see. If I lose, I go home, and it's okay. And I'm happy that, like this, I managed to win, and I really like the match point.
The other day, you gave a master class with Jim Courier on the court about returning. You talked about playing, I think, Berrettini, the big servers. You need to move back, buy a little time. Suddenly, you come out today, and you're standing a lot closer. Were you trying to throw Hurkacz off like he saw that, and suddenly you changed your court positioning?
No, it was funny because after on the press conference, they were also asking me about the return, and they were like, when do you decide sometimes to go forward, and are you gonna decide it? And in my mind, I knew that against Hubert, amazing serve and volley. His ball is actually, he's probably the only one where the ball, even if I stay really far back, it continues to go up, so it never really goes down. So I'm like, doesn't really work to stay there. So talking to Jim, talking in the press conference, I was like, I know next match I'm gonna stay close, but I'm not gonna tell it to you guys right now. So little surprise here and there. I'm happy that it kind of worked.
Then you went back, though, like toward this third, fourth set, and then in the fifth set, you moved forward again, and then you started coming in. You actually served and volleyed on a couple of huge points and started coming to net. What was that about?
It's everything together, because sometimes the way Hubie plays, he kind of like me sometimes, to give himself time, he puts the ball up a little bit. And it's very risky to go to the net, but sometimes you're gonna have to do it. And here, I'm so tired. I'm playing against the wind. If we start the point, I didn't feel like I have enough to win this point. So I was like, same. I do serve and volley. I lose. I fly home tomorrow. So that's sometimes, honestly, that's sometimes how I think on the court. With Ruusuvuori, after second set, I was on the court and I was like, damn, it's already like 2 in the morning. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch a six-hour flight tomorrow in the evening. So I was like, I'm going to have to tell my wife that I'm probably going to stay one day in Australia. And finally, 1 week later, we're talking to you, and I'm here 2 days after. So, yeah, sometimes different mentality.
You've got to be a little upset at the organizers. This past even week, you played to 4 in the morning. You played in the heat of the day the other day. You're playing in the heat of the day today. Can you ask the organizers to give you a little love here?
Where's Craig? Where's Craig? Monique has nothing to do with it. Monique is the best. But no, I think it's all fine, because 4 in the morning, tough situation. But honestly, they start 2 matches at 12. It was like girls played like 3 hours 30, then Alcaraz played 4 hours, so it was like almost on purpose from the tennis players. But I like this tournament. I had some tough moments here for sure, but I love it. I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for the support.
Last couple of questions. I read where I think you went to math school. Is that true? So you obviously understand geometry. So you stand way back. You understand that you have to run a lot more than the other player, right? But you're willing to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think in US Open they have the stats where they show meters ran per point. And you look all the matches, even Alcaraz, who kind of can play long points. And I don't remember the numbers exactly, but let's say, I don't know, let's say 15 meters, feet, whatever. And then you look my matches, 25 per match. But same for me and my opponent. So I think every time I play, it's tough, both for me and my opponent. And this Australian Open, I managed to win 4 sets, 5 sets, 2 times. So happy to make my opponents run, happy to run myself.
Finally, will you give a little love to your, because sometimes he takes a lot of flack in that coaching box. Give a little love. He's been with you a long time. For Gilles Savard, your coach. He's done a great job for you. He deserves some kudos.
I gave it after the match. I send them kisses. It was probably first time in my life I did it, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it again. But look, he knows how much I love working with him. Otherwise, we would not be together. I hope he loves working with me too. But I will ask you guys to give all my team love. They do great work. So some applause for him, and for them, and they're gonna be happy.
Daniil Medvedev promises to kiss you on the lips if he wins the Australian Open. Give it up for Daniil!